In this lesson, we're going to solve systems of equation using the elimination method, but we may have to use step 2 and do some multiplication in order to get two equations that contain opposite terms. So the steps remain the same as yesterday. Step 1, write the system of equations so like terms are aligned, and you can read through these 5 steps here. We'll go through them as we go through the examples. So in this example, we have negative 6x plus 3y equals 21 and negative 5x minus 9y equals 6. So these are not, they are stacked on top of each other, but we don't have any opposite terms. Hopefully, though, you notice here that the 3 and the 9 are pretty close to each other there. So what I want to do is I want to multiply this entire equation by 3. So when I do that, I'm going to distribute the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to write it down here below it. So I'm going to get negative 18x. I'm going to get positive 9y equals 63. Okay, and now we have these opposites. We have a minus 9y and a positive 9y. So let's go ahead and add these together so we combine like terms. So I'm going to get 23, negative 23x. All right, this is eliminated, and we get equals 69. So now we can divide by the coefficient of negative 23 on both sides. And so we get x is equal to, and we get a positive divided by a negative, and that is a negative. 69 divided by 23 equals 3, so we have a negative 3 there. And now we still have to go ahead and plug in this value into the other equation. So let's go with negative 6 times negative 3 plus 3y is equal to 21. That's going to be a positive 18 plus 3y is equal to 21. Subtract the 18 on both sides. And so we get 3y is equal to 3. Divide by 3. Solve for y, and y is 1. So we get negative 3, 1. All right, so again, basically the same thing here, except for we needed to do a little multiplication first, and when you distribute, make sure you distribute throughout the entire thing. All right, so this one here we have negative 3x, 10y, and negative 28, 6x minus 9y, and 12. So the 9 and the 10 aren't very close, but I see that I have multiples here. So what I'm going to do is multiply this whole equation by 2. And so I need to make sure I distribute all the way across. So I get negative 6x. I get plus 20y is equal to negative 56. Now let's go ahead and combine all these terms. This is going to eliminate. So I get a positive 11y. And 56 minus 12 gives us a negative 44. And then go ahead and divide by your coefficient on both sides. So y is equal to negative 4. So then we got to plug that in. So let's go with negative 3. Oops. So we solve for y, so we got to only plug that in for our y value. So this would be negative 3x plus 10 times negative 4 is equal to negative 28. So now we can go ahead and do our multiplication. So negative 3x minus 40 equals negative 28. Go ahead and add 40 to both sides. We get negative 3x is equal to 40 minus 28 is equal to 12, and that'll be a positive 12. Go ahead and divide both sides by the coefficient. And so x equals negative 4. So our answer is going to be negative 4, negative 4. That's where the two lines are going to cross and intersect. Okay, so now with this one here, we have, again, a negative 18 and a negative 9. We have a negative 2 and a negative 1. We could think of that as a negative 1, and we have 14 and 7. So since they're all negatives here, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and multiply this bottom equation by negative 2. The reason I want to do a negative is because I want to get rid of I want to be able to get an opposite sign here. So I'm going to get negative 2 times negative 9 is a positive 18x plus 2y equals negative 14. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this other equation down. So I get negative 18x. I get positive 2y is equal to 14. Okay, now when I combine like terms, I'm going to eliminate my x values. I'm going to get 4y is equal to 0. And when I divide by 4, I get y is equal to 0. Okay, now I can plug that in. So I'm going to get negative 18x minus 2 times 0 equals 14. So that's negative 18x equals 14 because that would just be 0 anyways. Okay, and then divide by your negative 18 on both sides. And so x is going to be a negative 14 over 18. If we simplify that, that's going to be 7/9. Probably be better for us to just leave that as a fraction. So I get negative 7/9 and 0 for my y value. All right, and that would be my solution. Again, to check any of these solutions, we can go ahead and take these two values and plug them into either of our equations, and they should work. We should be able to get 14 and 7. So again, the reason why I multiplied by negative is because I saw that both of these were negative and both of these were negative. So I wanted to get them to be opposite signs from each other. So in order to do that, I needed to multiply by that negative. All right, so let's take a look at our last example here. We have a 12x, a 12x and a 4x, so I see I could multiply by 3 to make 12. I got a negative 9 and a positive 6y, so it would take some multiplying there to get that together. You know, I'd have to like multiply by a fraction, so I don't necessarily want to do that. So let's go ahead and look at the 4 and 12. So I do want to get them to be opposite signs though, so I want to multiply by negative 3. All right, so that's going to get me, so make sure you multiply all the way across. So I'm going to get negative 12x minus 18y is equal to, now 3 times 18 is going to give us 54, and that's a negative times a negative, so I got a positive 54. All right, now I'm going to bring this top one down just so they match up. So there's a 12x minus 9y is equal to 27. Let's go ahead and combine these terms. So this is going to eliminate, and I'm going to be left with negative 27y, and 54 plus 27 is going to give us 81. And when we divide both sides by the coefficient of negative 27, y is going to be a negative 3. Okay, and then we just go ahead and plug that into our equation. So let's go with 4x plus 6 times negative 3. That equals negative 18. So we got 4x minus 18 equals negative 18. And we got to add 18 to both sides. We get 4x is equal to 0. So we know that x is going to equal 0. So we get 0 and negative 3 for our solution. That would be our answer. Again, if you want to check these, you can plug these in. Let's just go ahead and do that. 12 times 0, we know that's 0, minus 9 times negative 3. So negative 9 times negative 3, that's going to be positive 27. So it does work there. For that equation, you could check the other equation. It works just fine as well. Again, this would be 0. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. So pretty easy to check your solutions and make sure that they work. But there you go. That's how we do solving systems of equations using elimination and needing to use some multiplication in there.